For the British upper class, the empire meant comparatively big profits. For the working class, of course, it didn't mean necessarily big wages. It meant employment, but little more than that. It meant employment. But the standard of life, while in general, throughout the working class, it was higher than otherwise it would have been due to the exploitation of the colonial peoples.
That portion of the working class that benefited most from the economic upswing and from the tribute of goods and wealth from the empire formed the basis of the big new unions, like the Miners' Federation and the Dockers' Union. They also founded the Labour Party, which, when it emerged in 1906, was an uneasy alliance between the unions and the Independent Labour Party, whose members were radically committed to socialist principles. But the party was to remain a prisoner of the ideology of empire.
Several general elections, popular cry was that Labour in office would be so irresponsible that the disintegration of the empire must inevitably follow. Indeed, to read or listen to the utterances of the Tory party leaders, one received the impression that they really believed the Union Jack was their sole property. How convenient on their part to forget that throughout its long history, no one class or section of our people held a prior claim to the credit of the development and progress of the British Empire.
Yet within the British labour movement, there was also a radical tradition based on the revolutionary ideas of Karl Marx. The Social Democratic Federation, for instance, called for a distinct party based on class struggle and anti-imperialism.
Factories and mills, in the shipyards and mines, we've often been told to keep up with the times, but our skills are not needed. They've streamlined the job, and we're slide rule and stopwatch our blind day of rob die. But when the sky darkens and the prospect is war, who's given a gun and then pushed to the fore and expected to die for the land of our birth, though we've never owned one handful of earth?
The rapid expansion of European capitalism led to a scramble for colonial markets and raw materials. Africa, the last great blank space on the map, had been divided up. German capitalism had come late to the carve-up and was determined to get a place in the sun. The struggle for a redistribution of the colonies pointed to war between the two greatest powers, Britain and Germany. It came in 1914 and became a world war involving the major powers, including Russia and the United States. Crucial to the ability of the great powers to wage an imperialist war was the support of the working class organisations. In Germany, the Social Democrats were pledged to oppose war in line with the policy of the Second International, which was a loose federation of European socialist parties. But in 1914, the bulk of the socialist deputies voted to finance the war. In Britain, the Labour Party, with the exception of certain pacifist elements in the Independent Labour Party, was also solidly patriotic.